afternoon, everybody. How you doing? I know it's the day after Valentine's Day, but I want to tell you about this gentleman who walked into my store yesterday. His name is Eric. All right. Now, Eric had been working for a company for over 20 years, right? And then after 20 years of working for this company, they fired him. Now, Eric had came into my store, and the day that I had first met Eric was 2 days after he was fired. And when he walked into my store, the first thing he said was, "Sir, do you have any work for me to do today so that I may make some money?" And I would tell him, "No, I have employees, I'm good." And then I noticed that over the next few weeks that Eric will go from store to store to store asking the same question, "Sir or ma'am, do you have any work for me to do today so that I may add some money, earn some money?" Now, one of the things I found out about Eric's story is that he had been working for this company for over 20 years, and that while he was there, he just did the basics. He did the basics of what was needed. He didn't work too hard, but he wasn't one of the worst workers either. But after 20 years, they fired Eric, and this reminded me of people in relationships. That you can be in a relationship, and sometimes you don't work as hard as you could, or don't do the things that you should do, but yet you don't do too bad either, so life becomes average. But in an average life, you can be fired. And that's what happened to Eric. So now he found himself at home alone, and he prayed and he asked God, "Why me? Why is this happening to me?" And I know that sometimes when we break up in relationships and the pain that we feel, we ask God, "Why me?" And we pray and ask, "What are you going to do? Are you going to help me?" But sometimes those prayers, we feel like they go unanswered, and there's a reason why. They go unanswered because God is waiting for you to do something for you. You see, Eric realized that a few days later, after he got finished sitting around with his friends and listening to them, and they're joining in his sadness, and he decided, "I have to eat. I have to pay for the roof over my head." So Eric would come out, and every day he would go to the different plazas around him, and he would go into every store, and he would ask, "Sir or ma'am, do you have any work for me to do today so that I might earn some money?" So he would do this, and every now and then somebody would offer him an opportunity to wash the windows or to sweep the floor. They may give him work for a day to unload a truck or to stack some shelves. And every now and then he would get an opportunity to work for a month or two, depending upon the project. See, oftentimes once we come back out into the world and we want to get into a relationship, we're only looking for something to satisfy us for a short period of time. So Eric would go out and look for a job that said, "Can I work just today?" Those relationships are like when you go out to the club or you go out to the grocery store and you meet this one person and you have a great conversation. That's all it is one great conversation. But you don't press beyond that. Or you go on one date and you don't press beyond that. You meet somebody and you talk for a month, but you don't press beyond that because you're holding back. You're holding back your all. And that's what Eric did on a daily basis. He held back his all. Now, through this process, he would be able to make enough money to keep the roof over his head and keep some clothes on his back and be able to feed himself, small morsels of meals. And that's the same way we are in relationships after we've been brokenhearted, is that we'll go and we'll date this person for a month and date this person for a couple of months and date this person for a week. And it's small morsels of love that we've placed in our heart that satisfies us, because the thing about it is that truly we're afraid. We're afraid to go all out. We're afraid to put ourselves out there completely. But in order to heal from a broken heart, we must put ourselves out completely. In order for Eric to be able to work long term, he had to put himself out completely. Because then one day when he was walking down through the plaza, a new retailer was there, and the manager said, "Sir, I've noticed that you go through the plaza looking for work every day, but you've never come into my plaza." Eric said, "Well, sir, your company is a large national retailer. I didn't think that I would be qualified to go in and just work and ask for work for a day." The manager said, "Why would you ask for work for a day? We have opportunities that last for a lifetime." So Eric went in. He filled out the application. He sat down for an interview, and he was hired. Now, when he was hired, the first few weeks, Eric would do his job. He'd show up on time. He'd leave when it was time to leave. He would do exactly what he was told. And oftentimes when we find ourselves going back into another relationship and it seems like it's something that's going to last for a while, We'll do exactly what we are told. We'll show up on time and we'll check out on time. But we will never go above and beyond because we are in fear of the pain that we had before. We don't want to experience that pain. But it's a false pain. Because we're not truly running to the joy of what love could be like if it is overwhelming. So, one day, the manager came to Eric and said, Eric, I know that you're a good worker, but I know there's more in you. I need you to give your all because there are opportunities that are coming. And you seem like a good guy. So then Eric turned to 180 and he said, I'm going to give my all. I'm going to put everything I have into this work. And when Eric started doing that, an opportunity came up for him to be a department manager. And he took that opportunity. And then a year later, another opportunity came for him to become an assistant store manager. And he took that opportunity. And then his store manager was promoted to district manager. So who did he make the store manager? He made Eric the store manager. You see, when you start giving your all in relationships, yes, that first relationship you give your all in, it may not work out. The second one that you give your relationship in, it may not work. Give your all in, it may not work out. But just like Eric, to get the opportunity to be in a position that will last a lifetime, he had to give his all. So when you give your all in your relationship, guess what? It only takes one time for it to last a lifetime. But it would never happen if you're not giving your all, if you're not putting everything into it. That's the only way it happens. You see, now Eric has been the store manager for over a year now, and he's been taking care and growing so much that I hadn't seen him. So when he came in and he told me his story, I understood it beyond just the work. I understood his story to be life. That if you don't give your all in life, in every aspect of your life, then you'll always be cycling back and forth. And that's all it takes, people. That's all it takes, is you giving your all. Yes, you may be heartbroken, and you may get your heart broken again. But it only takes one time to find greatness. And there is greatness in you, and I believe it. So go out and be great. Give your all in all your relationships. Give your all in your work. Give it all in your family, and give your all to yourself. Y'all have a great day.